I hear it. Well, good morning.
Good morning. This is quite later. How are you? Yes, good to see you again. Hi, Debbie.
I was worried they were going to put you driving in.
I haven't driven a truck in a while. Hey, that's quite a way to arrive.
It is.
Well, thank you all for joining us on this beautiful first day of July. I want to mention the Lieutenant Governor is at a Republican Lieutenant Governor's Conference in Boston, so she couldn't be with us this morning. But I want to thank all of you for joining us on this beautiful day, a perfect Iowa day to take a road trip. AAA projects that 40.8 million Americans will take a trip over Independence Day holiday. 84% of them will travel by car. A few, like me, by truck. But on the 4th of July, we'll be marking the unofficial midpoint of summer. We thought it would be a great time to talk about scheduling your Iowa vacation this summer. Traveling takes many forms. Might be watching your son or daughter play soccer in a tournament in an out-of-town location, visiting family or friends, going to a state park or visiting a lake. One thing is for sure in Iowa, you don't have to go far to make a memory with your family. The good news, there is plenty to do here in Iowa. Some events that you might want to consider, of course, we just had the art festival over the weekend here in Des Moines, which was a great success. Saturday in the park in Sioux City, Yankee Doodle Pops will be right here in the Capitol grounds on the 3rd of July. That's always a great event that attracts a lot of people. The Iowa City Jazz Festival in Iowa City, of course. RAGBRAI, of course, the end of July. It's a great Iowa tradition. Bluesmore in Cedar Rapids, the Knoxville Nationals, the Meskwaki Powwow, countless county fairs all over the state, and then, of course, the granddaddy of them all, the Iowa State Fair, which is August 8th through the 18th this year. There are a lot of wonderful and fun things to do in Iowa. That's a long list, but it's just really the tip of the iceberg of all the great things there are to do. The entire event calendar is available on traveliowa.com. Iowans can also use the Iowa Travel Guide to help them plan a vacation. It is available free at any Iowa Welcome Center or by calling 800-345-IOWA. A digital version can also be found on traveliowa.com. You probably noticed my ride today was a bit out of the ordinary. That's because the Iowa Tourism Office and 9 Iowa communities around the state have partnered with the Alcoholic Beverage Division to literally drive the message about tourism opportunities in Iowa all around our state. Steve Larson is in charge of the Alcoholic Beverage Division, and I'm going to ask him to speak, and of course Debbie Durham has also joined us. And Steve, I'll turn it over to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Governor. The Alcoholic Beverages Division is excited to share resources across state government by entering into this partnership with economic development to promote tourism and communities in the state across this great state. The new rolling billboards that you see here today join the rest of the ABD's fleet, which promotes the Department of Cultural Affairs, Great Places Program, the DNR, Honey Creek Resort State Park, and the Iowa Lottery programs. These mobile advertisements publicize attractions, they highlight what Iowa has to offer, and illustrate how departments work together to showcase Iowa tourism and programs that benefit the citizens of Iowa. The ABD fleet travels 1.6 miles on Iowa roadways annually, making over 1,000 stops in all 99 counties each week. The estimated advertising value at this exposure level approaches $60,000 per community per year. ABD partnerships with economic development, culture affairs, DNR, and lottery gives this great value to the communities with little or no cost. And with that, I'm going to introduce Director Durham.
Well, good morning, and thank you, Steve. ABD has literally provided the vehicle for spreading the word that Iowa is indeed a great place to travel year-round. We are proud to be partners not only with ABD, but with the 9 communities in Iowa that are co-sponsoring these travel messages. Thank you to the Convention and Visitors Bureaus in Ames, Burlington, Cedar Falls, Cedar Rapids, Des Moines, Iowa City, Coralville, Newton, Sioux City, and Waterloo for joining us in this new effort, and I know many of them have traveled to join us here this morning, and we appreciate that. IEDA houses the Iowa Tourism Office, which is tasked with growing Iowa's economy through travel-related expenditures. Travelers spend money on fuel, food, entertainment, and lodging. In Iowa, those expenditures top $7 billion and generate $328 million in state taxes, all helping our state to grow. Tourism is simply serious business. That's why you'll find us marketing Iowa as a travel destination in many different ways. These rolling billboards that you see behind us are another way we can reach potential travelers. Earlier this spring, you could see Iowa's travelers' message through television advertising that ran in Chicago, Minneapolis, and Kansas City. And our digital efforts, including advertising and promotions, continue on Facebook, YouTube, Hula, Pandora, Pinterest, Twitter, Flickr, and other online outlets. I'm just learning all that, as you know. However, our newly revamped website, traveliowa.com, is the signature tool we utilize to accomplish this mission. There you can check out the event calendar to find details on all of the great things going on around our state. The governor mentioned several I'm going to check out myself personally. You can plan your trip by searching lodging options, destinations, and attractions, and the great restaurants that our state has to offer. Or get inspired by reading the latest blog post or visiting the interest areas of our site that might just spark a great idea for your next great vacation. Whatever you do this summer, don't forget to include Travel Iowa. Thank you.
Thank you, Debbie and Steve. We'll take questions on this subject first.
How long will the trucks have these billboards on them?
Those billboards will be on those vehicles for about 18 months.
You meant 1.6 million.
Right.
Yes, I did. Sorry about that.
1.6 is not very long, but 1.6 million, I was thinking that had to be the case.
Governor, what's the most effective rolling billboard that you've seen?
Well, I don't know, but we did one in our last campaign that worked out. Well, there's a lot of them. Hy-Vee has got some really nice ones on their trucks. Many others have used their trucks as a way to market something, and but I think this is a wonderful idea, and I think it's great to see the Alcoholic Beverage Division partnering with many state agencies and also with the tourism people around the state, the communities, the tourism and visitor bureaus.
And how were the communities picked, and did the communities pay for their billboards, or was that all?
The communities were picked by the Department of Economic Development and Tourism. As far as the cost, that's a cost that's shared between the Department of Economic Development as well as the communities. In regards to the straight trucks, which is a smaller truck, that's around $3,000. In regards to the larger truck, that's around $5,000. You take around $45,000 to $50,000 for all the different vehicles.
they paying versus the community?
Debbie?
We basically split that with the communities that partnered with us on that. So, and then of course, obviously, the very generosity of Steve and his team for allowing us to have the infrastructure, if you will. And if you think about what he talked about as far as the cost factor, and you divide that into an 18-month wrap-up and timeline, that's a really great return on investment. So we expect this to be a very popular thing that you're going to see us continue to do in the future.
When you say split, you mean 50/50 or?
Correct.
The governor director, when you all are out traveling out of state, what do people bring up about this state that they want?
Well, you know, one of the things that is the best about Iowa is the people. And I can tell you, Xi Jinping, who's the president of China, came here in 1985, and he has told me on a number of occasions how impressed he was with the friendliness and hospitality and how well he was treated. He visited many farms and factories and traveled all over the state with Luca Baroni. And of course, Muscatine is where I guess made quite an impression because they went out on the Mississippi River, but he also visited a lot of other locations. And he's not alone. People that come here, whether it's from other states or other countries, are just impressed. The other thing that I hear a lot is people that haven't been to Des Moines for a while are impressed with the revitalization that's occurred. The East Village area, which used to be a blighted area in the 70s, is now a very wonderful upscale area. We have, of course, the Sculpture Garden, but you see similar things. Cedar Rapids has bounced back very well since the flood of 2008. In other communities around the state also have done a lot to market themselves and make people aware of the communities and what they have to offer. But I still think the best asset we have is our people. The Iowans are willing to go out of their way to help others, whether they're neighbors or whether they're complete strangers from other countries. And I think that's the special thing that we have going for us that I'm really proud of.
Governor, on the Supreme Court ruling,
Okay.
do you think that federal ruling on marriage helps or hurts Iowans? As you know, it allows same-sex couples to take advantage of the same federal benefits as different-sex couples. Do you think that helps or hurts?
Well, I guess it depends upon your perspective and your point of view on those things. And I guess people can make their own judgment on that. We're going to live with the law and make whatever adjustments are necessary. It does have some impacts on people in many different ways, and I would let people make their own judgment on that.
Would you still like to see some type of referendum or allow people to vote whether it should be legalized in the state?
Well, and the court decision permits that. It basically says the federal law is struck down, but it's up to the individual states. And many states have indeed amended their constitution to provide for one man, one woman marriage. I've always felt that the people of Iowa should have an opportunity to vote on that issue.
Can you tell us a little bit about the juvenile justice program?
But the juvenile justice. What program are we talking about here? Michael? Michael, why don't you come up here and help give us the details on that?
Paul Stoggeberg and the Division on Criminal Juvenile Justice Planning and the Department of Human Rights is rolling out a grant this morning that's going to study how we can look at public safety and juvenile justice in a way that maybe makes it a little bit more local and a case-by-case, but in a way that's evidence-based, looking at what other states have done and maybe modernize our criminal and juvenile justice planning through this grant which will study the effectiveness of the techniques. It's, I believe, $500,000 or $750,000, and it was applied for, again, under Paul Stoggeberg with the Division on Criminal Juvenile Justice Planning, and it's something that he believes and that division believes can look at modernizing our juvenile justice in the state of Iowa.
Governor, several legislators said they believe that same-sex couples can now file their Iowa income taxes as a married couple. Do you agree? And if that is not the case, would you support legislation that would allow them to do so?
Well, I think the Department of Revenue and Finance will be carefully reviewing that to determine. That is one of many questions that need to be answered, and I feel that the department will research and determine what is the appropriate determination of Iowa law in light of the Supreme Court decision.
Governor, do you support the proposed rule change to ban telemedicine abortion?
Yes, I do. This process, of course, has just begun. There will be extensive opportunity for public input and comments, and there will be a public hearing. But I think there's many healthcare professionals feel that the health and well-being of women are put in jeopardy with these telemed abortions. In fact, even the FDA guidance on the pills themselves say there should be a physical examination in a doctor's office or a hospital. So I believe that the Board of Medical Examiners is indeed moving in a direction that will protect the health and well-being of Iowa women.
Do you think rulemaking is appropriate rather than legislative?
Yes. Well, first of all, this was done by rule, and it was a very unusual thing, and it is, as I said, it goes contrary to the FDA instructions and contrary to a lot of doctors and healthcare professionals' feelings about what is appropriate care. So the Board of Medical Examiners has a responsibility to protect the health and well-being, especially when it comes to medical procedures of people in this state, and I feel they certainly are acting in an appropriate way.
More?